5:17 local time. A surface search radar aboard a U.S. Navy Nimitz-class aircraft carrier picks up 3 new contacts on the eastern horizon. Small hulls, high speed, bearing 094, making 28 knots and accelerating. No prior hail, no AIS signal, no request to alter course, just raw geometry. Inside the Combat Information Center, the Tactical Action Officer leans closer as the symbols tighten on the screen. 3 fast surface contacts, converging course. The carrier holds 19 knots on a steady heading. No turn is ordered. 5:18, 2 larger radar signatures appear behind the fast movers. Heavier displacement, slower acceleration, likely frigate-class hulls. They are not casually following. They are forming the rear anchor of a developing pattern. Distance, 6.2 nautical miles. On the bridge, binoculars confirm long white wake plumes growing sharper by the minute. Iranian fast attack craft. Low silhouette, angular profile, forward-mounted rails visible even at range. The officer of the deck keeps his tone calm. Track all contacts, log course changes, maintain present heading. No alarm sounds, no dramatic shift in posture, but every console in CIC is now locked on 5 contacts and nothing else. 5:19. The 3 fast craft begin to spread laterally. One moves north of the carrier's projected track, another angles south, the third continues straight in. It is not random, it is not curiosity, it is a crescent. The escorting Ali Burke-class destroyer off the carrier's starboard quarter raises SPY-1 tracking priority. Fire control systems remain cold, but the radar picture sharpens into high resolution. Closest point of approach recalculates. CPA, 1.9 nautical miles and shrinking. 5:20. One of the fast boats surges to 32 knots. Its bow lifts slightly as the engines bite harder into the water. The wake thickens. Another trims speed just enough to widen the arc. The crescent tightens. Flight deck operations pause. Yellow shirt directors hold aircraft in place. Chains are checked again. Ordnance crews secure panels and step clear of exposed stations. No one runs. Movement simply becomes tighter, more deliberate. 5:21. Long-range optics zoom in from the carrier's island. The forward gun mount on the lead Iranian craft turns a few degrees. Not fully trained, not locked, just aligned. A message without a word. Electronic warfare consoles register intermittent radar sweeps from the trailing frigate. Search mode, broad beam, no fire control tone, but clearly intentional. 5:22. A bridge-to-bridge hail goes out. Unidentified Iranian naval vessels, this is a United States warship conducting lawful transit in international waters. Alter course immediately. Silence. The message is repeated in Farsi. Still nothing. The carrier's wake remains unbroken. 5:23. Range falls below 4 nautical miles. The Iranian frigates widen slightly, shaping the outer boundary of the enclosure. The fast craft hold the inner arc. This is no longer simple harassment. This is positioning. Inside CIC, a surface warfare officer marks projected intercept geometry. They are trying to compress sea room. The carrier gives them none. 5:24. One fast attack craft cuts 15 degrees across the carrier's projected bow track. Not yet inside 1 nautical mile, but closing. The escort destroyer adjusts bearing just enough to stay between the nearest fast boat and the carrier's flank. Its 5-inch gun mount rotates 5 degrees to starboard. Visible, measured, no targeting radar, just presence. 5:25. Range 2.8 nautical miles. The crescent is nearly complete. The Iranian vessels are no longer acting as separate units. They are moving as a coordinated surface screen, trying to box in the carrier from the east while the heavier hulls hold the rear line. The sea remains calm. Wind below 10 knots. Visibility nearly perfect. Nothing in the water itself suggests danger. Everything in the geometry does. 5:26. Another hail is transmitted. You are maneuvering unsafely. Your actions are being recorded. Still no reply. On the horizon, heat shimmer reveals exhaust trails thickening behind the fast boats. They are pushing their engines hard. The carrier remains steady at 19 knots. No speed increase, no turn to port, no turn to starboard, no outward sign of strain. But from the bridge to CIC, everyone understands the same thing. Iran believes it is closing a surface net. The arc is nearly sealed at less than 2 nautical miles. 5 hulls, tightening geometry, no communication. The box is forming and it is closing fast. 5:27 local time. The surface picture is tense. Then the subsurface picture changes everything. Inside the escorting destroyer's sonar control, a faint low-frequency signature cuts through the ocean's background noise. Not merchant traffic, not biologics. Mechanical, rhythmic, bearing 142. Range approximately 9,000 yards. Depth indeterminate. The sonar supervisor does not hesitate. Possible diesel-electric transient contact. Mark. A second passive array confirms it seconds later. The acoustic fingerprint matches a known profile. Kilo class. Iranian infantry. The confrontation is no longer limited to the surface. It just went vertical. 5:28. The carrier strike group shifts posture without announcement. No alarms, no shouted orders, just quiet transitions. Anti-submarine protocols begin. On the flight deck of the nearest Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, an MH-60R Seahawk is already spinning up. Rotors blur. Within 3 minutes of first confirmation, the helicopter lifts cleanly into the morning air. Above the surface, the Iranian crescent keeps tightening. Below it, something is tracking. 5:30. Range to the nearest fast attack craft drops to 2.5 nautical miles. One Iranian vessel cuts across the carrier's wake, deliberately crossing inside the projected bow track before easing outward again. Not accidental. The move is logged as unsafe. The trailing Iranian frigates widen their spacing, maintaining the outer arc. They are not rushing. They are preserving the shape. On the bridge, the officer of the deck remains steady. Maintain course. Maintain speed. 19 knots, 5:31. The Seahawk arrives on station over the destroyer's last known sonar bearing. The crew transitions to active search. Dipping sonar enters the water. The first active ping rolls through the ocean column, a controlled burst of acoustic energy that announces presence without crossing the line. Seconds later, the return comes back. Solid submarine. Confirmed. 5:32. The Kilo-class submarine shifts depth immediately. Sonar registers a change in propeller cadence, slight increase in RPM. It is adjusting. Testing. The Seahawk circles wide, keeping safe lateral spacing from the surface arc while maintaining acoustic coverage. Iran's surface and subsurface elements are now working in the same space. This is layered pressure. 5:33. Electronic warfare consoles aboard the carrier detect intermittent radar sweeps from one of the Iranian frigates. Narrower beam, slightly higher energy, still search mode, still short of a harder step, but closer to that line. Inside CIC, a surface warfare coordinator watches both layers of the tactical display. Blue symbols clustered tightly, red arcs compressing around them, and now a subsurface track moving beneath the outer edge. They're attempting multi-axis containment, he says quietly. No one argues. 5:34. The Iranian fast attack craft tighten inside 2 nautical miles. Wake patterns shorten as throttles adjust to preserve relative position. The crescent is nearly closed from the east. The Kilo-class submarine now sits roughly 7,500 yards off the carrier's port quarter, offset beneath the outer frigate line. Above, the Seahawk lays a staggered sonobuoy pattern, building an acoustic net. With every return, the submarine's movement becomes easier to map. Iran is probing, but it is also being mapped in real time. 5:35. The submarine alters heading 5 degrees south. Depth increases again. The acoustic profile sharpens under active pings. There is no launch indication, no weapon transient, but proximity alone changes the equation. This is no longer symbolic, it is positional. 5:36. One Iranian fast boat briefly accelerates to 34 knots, attempting to push inside 1.8 nautical miles. The escort destroyer answers with a subtle bearing shift, sliding half a degree into the intercept lane. Its 5-inch mount turns slightly, visible even from the Iranian deck. No targeting spike, no dramatic escalation, just a signal. 5:37. The carrier does not move, no turn, no speed increase. 19 knots through calm water. The sea remains almost too peaceful, blue, glassy, uninterrupted except for converging wakes. Below, the Kilo class begins a lateral withdrawal, slowly opening distance under the persistent watch of the Seahawk's dipping sonar. It has been localized. It cannot remain hidden inside the acoustic net. 5:38. The Iranian crescent still holds. Surface vessels within 1.7 nautical miles. Submarine withdrawing, but not gone. No shots, no activated missiles. Yet every domain, surface and subsurface, is now live. Iran believes it is compressing sea room. But the carrier strike group has expanded the picture into 3 dimensions, and the geometry is beginning to tilt. 5:39 local time. The ocean is no longer the only axis. Air contact. 2 tracks lifting from a coastal airfield, bearing 067, speed increasing. The call comes from the E-2D Hawkeye orbiting 80 miles from the carrier strike group. Its radar reaches beyond the horizon, bringing a new variable into the equation. 2 Iranian fighters, likely F-4 Phantoms. Distance 110 nautical miles, vectoring Maritime. They are not yet descending, not yet fully committing, but they are climbing into the same battle space. Inside the carrier's combat information center, posture shifts again. Set condition 1. No sirens, no shouting, just systems manned and ready. 5:40. On the flight deck, two FA-18E Super Hornets taxi into launch position. Their wings carry a clear air-to-air loadout. AIM-12, OAMR, AAMs under the fuselage, AIM-9X, sidewinders on the tips. Steam builds beneath the catapults. Final checks. 5:41. The first Hornet launches. Afterburners flare. Engines roar. The jet is gone, climbing sharply into the pale morning sky. The second follows seconds later. Air superiority does not introduce itself. It takes altitude. 5:42. Iranian surface crews notice immediately through long-range optics. Deck teams aboard the fast attack craft watch the fighters climbing overhead. Their speed fluctuates slightly. Along the northern arc, the crescent loosens by roughly 200 yards. A small shift, but measurable. 5:43. Above 25,000 feet, the Super Hornets level off and vector toward the incoming Iranian aircraft. The Hawkeye feeds them targeting data without broadcasting aggressively. Passive track, controlled, no fire control radar yet. 5:44. Below, the Seahawk continues its anti-submarine pattern. A second sonobuoy goes into the water directly over the last known kilo bearing. The acoustic return strengthens. The submarine's propulsion cadence changes again. RPM decreasing, depth stabilizing, heading drifting farther south. It is no longer holding station, it is opening distance. 5:45. One Iranian fast attack craft tries to tighten formation on the carrier's port side, pushing inside 1.3 nautical miles. The escorting destroyer answers with a subtle 12-degree starboard shift, placing steel between the fast mover and the carrier's hull. Its 5-inch mount rotates a few degrees more. Visible, deliberate, still no targeting radar. Still posture, not escalation. 5:46. The Iranian fighters are now 75 nautical miles out. The Super Hornets are already above them. Altitude advantage secured, speed differential controlled. The Iranian jets adjust throttle, slowing slightly, holding distance instead of pressing forward. They know they are being watched. 5:47. Electronic warfare consoles aboard the carrier detect no missile-locked tones. No fire control radar spikes from the air contacts. The air layer is present, but cautious. On the surface, the Iranian crescent remains inside 1.5 nautical miles. Engines loud, wakes crossing in white foam. But the geometry has changed. The box no longer has a ceiling. 5:48. The Seahawk transmits updated acoustic classification. Kilo class now at 11,000 yards. Bearing drifting south-southwest. The submarine is no longer positioned to support the surface squeeze. Its leverage is fading. 5:49. One of the Super Hornets drops slightly in altitude, an unmistakable sign of readiness. Still outside visual merge, still non-provocative. The Iranian fighters bank gently, altering heading several degrees away from the carrier strike group's centerline. They do not commit. The air layer dissolves before contact. 5:50. On the surface, the Iranian fast boats hold formation, but begin to throttle back. Their wakes shorten. The outer frigates widen spacing, no longer anchoring a tight crescent. The enclosure is losing symmetry. On the carrier's bridge, no one celebrates, no one relaxes. The officer of the deck stays level. Maintain course, maintain speed. 19 knots, unbroken, 5:51. Air superiority is in place, subsurface pressure is dispersing. The surface arc remains dangerous, but it is no longer supported. Iran attempted layered containment. Surface, subsurface, air. The surface net is still visible, but it has lost cohesion. Above the calm water, the Super Hornets hold orbit. Below, the Seahawk maintains acoustic control. Around the carrier, the crescent no longer tightens. It wavers. And for the first time since 5:17, the geometry is beginning to shift away from enclosure and toward control. 5:52. On sonar, the Kilo-class submarine continues opening distance, now beyond 13,000 yards and increasing. Propeller cadence steady. Withdrawal confirmed. The underwater layer is no longer aligned with the surface pressure. 5:53. The Iranian frigates adjust heading 5 degrees outward, then 7. Spacing expands. The once tight crescent begins to fracture. The fast boat that crossed ahead throttles back to 24 knots, sliding toward its earlier position. 5:54. For the first time since initial contact, Iranian radio breaks silence. United States naval vessel, you are operating near Iranian waters. Adjust course. The transmission is measured, not aggressive. The reply from the carrier comes immediately. Iranian naval vessels, this is a United States warship conducting lawful transit in international waters. Your unsafe maneuvers are being recorded. No rise in tone, no threats, just facts. 5:55. The Super Hornets maintain combat air patrol overhead. Altitude advantage preserved. Iranian fighters, now 60 miles distant, turn farther inland. Their radar returns shrink on the Hawkeye display. They will not enter engagement range. The air ceiling has fully dissolved. 5:56. Surface geometry shifts decisively. Fast attack craft reduce speed to 21 knots. Wake trails shorten. Distance slowly increases. 1.4 nautical miles, then 1.7. The frigates continue widening outward, abandoning the enclosure pattern entirely. What was a crescent is now a loose line. 5:57. The escort destroyer returns to its original bearing, re-establishing standard protective station relative to the carrier. The 5-inch mount rotates back to neutral. No targeting radar was ever activated. No escalation beyond visible posture. 5:58. The Seahawk climbs slightly, maintaining passive watch on the retreating submarine track. Sonobuoys continue to register weaker returns. Subsurface threat no longer close. Surface pressure fading. Air layer disengaged. 5:59. Range to the nearest Iranian vessel now exceeds 2 nautical miles and continues to widen. No vessel holds direct intercept geometry anymore. The box has broken. Iran did not fire. The carrier strike group did not turn. Control was established without a shot. 6 o'clock. On the bridge, nothing changes. 19 knots. Steady heading. Calm sea state. No triumphant words. No visible relief. Just routine. But inside every console log, every radar track, every acoustic return, the record is complete. Iran attempted layered containment across 3 domains. Surface pressure, subsurface positioning, air presence. Each layer appeared in sequence. Each layer was answered in sequence. And none of it crossed beyond what was necessary. 6:02. Iranian vessels are now 4.5 nautical miles off the starboard quarter. Separation increasing, no longer converging, no longer compressing sea room. The crescent that began at 5:17 has dissolved into open water. The ocean returns to its deceptive calm. But the message has changed. Containment demands commitment. Commitment demands a willingness to go further. Iran tested proximity. The carrier strike group tested resolve. And when the breakpoint came at less than 1 nautical mile, only one side altered the geometry. The carrier never did. 6:04. The E-2D Hawkeye confirms the Iranian fighters have fully reversed course. Their radar signatures shrink toward the coastline. Air layer disengaged. Above the carrier, 2 Super Hornets remain in disciplined orbit. Altitude steady, speed controlled. They do not chase. They do not overplay the moment. They simply hold. 6:05. On sonar, the Kilo-class submarine fades beyond 15,000 yards. Acoustic profile weakening with distance. The Seahawk transitions from active ping to passive monitoring. Sonobuoys continue recording, capturing the retreat signature in full fidelity. Its acoustic fingerprint is now stored, updated, refined, and added to the digital library used to track adversary capabilities across the world. No launch, no countermeasure, but intelligence gained. 6:07. The surface picture stabilizes. Iranian frigates widen farther, now more than 6 nautical miles offset from the carrier's flank. Fast attack craft settle at 18 knots, paralleling, but no longer converging. The geometry that once compressed sea room has dissolved into separation. On the bridge, the officer of the deck keeps the same even tone. Maintain course, maintain speed. 19 knots, unchanged since 5:17. That is the point. 6:10, flight deck operations resume in measured sequence. Chains come off. Deck crews return to their choreographed motion. No rush, no visible adrenaline. Above, combat air patrol continues on schedule. Below deck, intelligence specialists replay radar data in accelerated loops, tracking Iranian emission patterns, measuring response timing, cataloging throttle changes during the breakpoint at 5:50. That data will matter later. 6:13. Electronic warfare consoles confirm the Iranian frigates have ceased directed search sweeps. Their radar returns settle into broader, less focused scans. The line between probing and posturing was approached, then stepped back from, without a missile, without a warning shot. 6:15. The carrier strike group returns to standard formation spacing. Destroyers resume normal stations. Acoustic nets retract as the submarine contact falls beyond operational concern. The ocean settles into calm symmetry once again. But something has changed. Iran attempted layered containment across 3 domains. Surface pressure within 1 nautical mile. Subsurface positioning inside close envelope distance. Air presence closing from shore. Each layer was deliberate. Each layer was answered proportionally. Air control was established before merge. The submarine was localized and compelled to withdraw. Surface geometry was broken at less than 1 nautical mile. Escalation dominance was held, without escalation itself. 6:18. There is no public broadcast, no immediate press release. Later, the encounter will probably be summarized in sterile language. Unsafe maneuvering, professional response, lawful transit. But inside the tactical logs, the story is exact. Iran tested reaction time. Iran tested formation discipline. Iran tested proximity. What it met was measured restraint backed by layered capability. 620. The carrier cuts through open water exactly as it did before the first radar contact appeared. Heading unchanged. Speed unchanged. Sea state unchanged. The only difference is invisible, electronic signatures captured, acoustic patterns refined, operational behavior analyzed. The box that nearly closed at 526 never sealed, because geometry alone does not create control. Control belongs to the side that can go further, but chooses not to. The Iranian vessels remain visible on the horizon, small steel silhouettes against bright morning light. Not dramatically retreating, not advancing, simply distant. The carrier strike group continues its transit. No scars on the hull, no smoke in the sky, but the message is clear. Containment requires commitment. Commitment requires a willingness to cross the line. At 550, with less than 1 nautical mile separating steel from steel, one side hesitated, the other held course. And in modern naval warfare, sometimes the most decisive move is the one that never has to happen. The ocean settles, the data is stored, the transit continues, and the next test will come, because it always does. Если хочешь, я могу сразу сделать еще более YouTube-friendly версию. Более живую, плотную и с сильнее удержанием внимания. Но все так же без рискованных слов и без потери смысла.